I don't understand why everyone thinks what I did was so terrible. Seriously, I was just trying to make a decision. I was just trying to see who wanted me more. I was just trying to figure out which relationship was worth keeping. That's not manipulation. That's not playing games. That's just being honest about my situation and seeking clarity. Everyone acts like I'm some kind of monster for wanting two men who claim to love me to prove it, to show me, to fight for me. But isn't that what love is supposed to be? Passion? Intensity? Willingness to compete for someone you value? I gave them both the opportunity to show me how much I mattered, to demonstrate their commitment, to prove they were worthy of me, and instead of rising to the challenge, they both walked away. They both chose their pride over fighting for our relationship. They both decided I wasn't worth the effort. And somehow, I'm the villain in this story. But let me tell you what actually happened. Let me explain the context that everyone conveniently ignores. Let me show you that I'm not the bad person everyone thinks I am. I was just a woman stuck between two relationships, trying to make the best decision. And everyone punished me for it. Let me start at the beginning, because that's the only way this makes sense. I'd been married to David for 5 years. Good marriage, stable, comfortable, the kind of relationship everyone points to as goals from the outside. David was dependable, loyal, a good provider, attractive enough, smart, successful. On paper, he was perfect. But there was no spark, no passion, no excitement. We'd fallen into a routine that felt more like roommates than soulmates. Work, dinner, TV, bed, repeat. Weekends were grocery shopping and house projects, and maybe dinner with friends. It was fine. It was stable. It was exactly what marriage is supposed to look like after a few years. But it was boring. I felt like I was slowly disappearing into the mundane routine of suburban married life. Like I was becoming one of those women who exists only in relation to her husband, who loses her identity, who forgets what it feels like to be desired and pursued and valued as an individual. And then I met Marcus. He was everything David wasn't. Exciting, spontaneous, passionate, unpredictable. Dangerous in that thrilling way that makes you feel alive. We met at a work conference, one of those industry events where you sit through boring presentations and network during breaks and drink too much at the hotel bar after. I was there alone. David had stayed home, said he was too busy with work to take time off for my conference. Marcus was at the bar. We started talking, just casual conversation at first, about the conference, about the industry, about how these events are usually terrible but the free drinks make them tolerable. But the conversation was electric. He made me laugh, made me feel interesting, made me remember what it felt like to be seen as more than just someone's wife, as more than just a role I played rather than a person in my own right. "You have this energy about you," he said after our third drink. "Like you're barely contained, like there's this whole vibrant person under the surface just waiting to break free. And God, it felt good to be seen that way, to be noticed, to be valued as something other than dependable, stable, boring wife material." We exchanged numbers. Just for networking, we both said, but we both knew it was more than that. The texting started immediately, the next day. Just friendly at first. "Great meeting you last night. Hope your hangover isn't too bad." Survived. Barely. That bartender was generous with the pause. "We should do it again sometime. The drinking, not the conference." "Definitely." But it escalated quickly. The messages got longer, more personal, more frequent. Good morning texts. Throughout the day check-ins, long conversations late at night when David was already asleep and I was alone with my phone and my thoughts, and this man who made me feel things I'd forgotten existed. He'd send me songs that reminded him of me, articles he thought I'd find interesting, jokes that were just for us, inside references that built a whole private world between us, and I was addicted to it, addicted to the attention, addicted to feeling valued and interesting and desired. After 2 weeks of constant messaging, he asked me to dinner. "I'm in town for business. Would love to see you, just dinner. Nothing crazy." I knew what just dinner meant. I knew where this was heading. I should have said no. Should have stopped this before it went too far. Should have been honest with myself about what I was doing. But I said yes, because I wanted to feel alive again. I wanted to feel desired. I wanted to remember what it felt like to be pursued, to be the object of someone's intense focus and attention. I told David I was having dinner with a colleague, a woman from the conference, just networking, building professional relationships. He barely looked up from his laptop. "Have fun. Don't wait up for me. I have to finish this presentation." He didn't notice I'd dressed up, didn't comment on the perfume, didn't ask which colleague or where we were going or what time I'd be home. He just didn't notice me, and that made it easier to walk out the door, made it easier to justify what I was about to do, made it easier to tell myself that if my husband didn't care enough to pay attention, then seeking attention elsewhere wasn't really betrayal. That first dinner with Marcus was intoxicating. He asked questions and actually listened to the answers. He maintained eye contact. He laughed at my stories. He made me feel like the most interesting person in the room. "Your husband is an idiot," he said over dessert. "If you were mine, I'd never let you go to dinner with another man. I'd be too afraid someone would realize how special you are and steal you away." It was exactly what I needed to hear, even if I knew it was just flattery, even if I knew he was seducing me, even if I knew this was how affairs start. I wanted to hear it, wanted to feel special, wanted to be someone worth stealing. We kissed in the parking lot, just a kiss, but it was electric, passionate, the kind of kiss that makes you forget everything else. "I want to see you again," he said, his hands on my waist, his forehead pressed against mine. "I want that too. Your husband doesn't need to know. What he doesn't know won't hurt him." That's how I justified it. That's how I convinced myself this was okay. If David didn't know, if he stayed blissfully ignorant in his world of work and routine and taking me for granted, then technically I wasn't hurting him. What he didn't know couldn't hurt him. So I kept seeing Marcus, once a week, then twice a week, then whenever we could manage it. Coffee dates that turned into lunch dates that turned into hotel rooms in the middle of the day. The sex was incredible, passionate, intense, the kind that makes you feel alive in ways you'd forgotten were possible. With David, sex had become routine. Once a week if we weren't too tired. Same positions, same predictable routine, efficient and comfortable, but lacking any real passion. With Marcus, sex was explosive, spontaneous, all-consuming. The kind that leaves marks and ruins your clothes and makes you late to everything because you can't keep your hands off each other. But it wasn't just physical, it was emotional too. Marcus listened to me complain about my marriage, validated my feelings, made me believe I deserved better. "You're too vibrant for that kind of life," he'd say. "You deserve passion, adventure, someone who sees you." And I believed him. I wanted to believe him, because the alternative was accepting that maybe my marriage was exactly what I'd signed up for, and I was the one being unreasonable. I was living a double life, keeping both relationships going through careful scheduling and elaborate lies. David thought I was working late, or meeting friends or running errands. He never questioned it, never asked for details, never seemed to notice that I was disappearing from our life together. Or maybe he did notice and didn't care enough to say anything. Maybe he was as checked out as I was. That's what I told myself, that we were both just going through the motions, that I was just being honest about my unhappiness while he was living in denial. For 6 months, I managed to keep both going, the stable marriage and the exciting affair, the security and the passion, everything I wanted, just divided between two men. But it was exhausting. The lying, the scheduling, the constant vigilance to keep the two worlds from colliding, and I realized I couldn't do it forever. Eventually, something would slip. Eventually, someone would find out. Eventually, I'd have to choose. But I genuinely didn't know which one to choose. David represented security, stability, the life I'd built, the familiar comfort of a long-term relationship, financial security, social standing, the respect of family and friends. Marcus represented passion, excitement, the intensity I'd been craving, the feeling of being truly desired, the promise of a relationship that felt alive rather than just functional. How do you choose between those? How do you decide which kind of love is more important? Which kind of relationship is worth keeping? I agonized over it for weeks, made lists, weighed pros and cons, tried to imagine my future with each of them, and I couldn't decide, genuinely couldn't decide. Both options had merit, both options had drawbacks, both men offered something I needed, just different things. So I came up with my plan, the one that made perfect sense at the time, the one that would give me the clarity I desperately needed. I would make them compete. I would put them in the same room at the same time. I would tell them both the truth and watch who fought harder, who wanted me more, who was willing to prove their love. And then I'd make my decision based on that, based on who rose to the challenge, based on who valued me enough to fight. It was logical, efficient, the perfect solution to an impossible problem. Or at least, that's what I convinced myself. And I planned it carefully. There was a wine bar downtown that I liked, upscale but not too fancy, public but intimate enough for serious conversation. I told David I wanted to take him on a date, a real date, like when we were first together, somewhere nice where we could reconnect. He was surprised but pleased. We hadn't had a proper date night in months, maybe longer. "That sounds great," he said. "What's the occasion?" "No occasion. I just miss spending quality time with you. I miss us." It wasn't entirely a lie. I did miss the early days of our relationship, before everything became routine. "Saturday at 7, I suggested. The wine bar on 5th Street. "Perfect. I'll make a reservation." "No need, I already did." He smiled, kissed my forehead. "You really are making an effort. I appreciate it." Guilt flickered through me, but I pushed it down. This wasn't about guilt, this was about clarity. Then I called Marcus. "Hey, beautiful, miss you already." "Miss you too. Are you free Saturday night?" "For you? Always. What did you have in mind?" "I want to see you. Somewhere public. Somewhere we can talk." "About what?" "About us. About where this is going. About what we want." He was quiet for a moment. We'd been avoiding that conversation. The "what are we doing" conversation that acknowledges this can't go on forever. "Okay," he finally said. "Where?" "There's a wine bar on 5th Street, Saturday at 7:30. I'll be there. I have something important to tell you, something that's going to change everything." "Good change or bad change?" "That depends on you." He laughed, thinking I was being playful. "You're being mysterious. I like it." If only he knew. I hung up and sat there for a moment, my heart pounding. This was really happening. I was really doing this. David at 7, Marcus at 7:30, both at the same wine bar, both expecting different versions of the evening. I'd tell David I was making a choice, that I'd been unhappy, that I'd been seeing someone else, that I needed him to show me why I should stay. I'd tell Marcus about David, about my marriage, about the fact that I'd been living a double life. And then I'd watch them both, see who fought harder, see who wanted me more, see who was willing to prove their love. The one who fought for me would be the one I chose. It was foolproof. It was brilliant. It was the perfect solution to an impossible situation. At least, that's what I thought. A Saturday came. I spent hours getting ready. Hair, makeup, the perfect dress that was sexy but not too revealing. The kind of outfit that said, I'm worth fighting for. I wanted to look my best, wanted both of them to remember why they wanted me, wanted to remind them what they'd be losing if they didn't fight. I arrived at the wine bar at 6:45, early enough to get settled, to prepare myself for what was about to happen. I chose a table in the middle of the room, visible from the entrance, impossible to miss. My heart was racing, my hands were shaking slightly, but I felt powerful too, in control, like I was finally taking charge of my life instead of just letting things happen to me. David arrived exactly at 7. He looked good. He'd dressed up too. Nice slacks, button-down shirt, the cologne I'd bought him for Christmas. He smiled when he saw me, leaned down to kiss me. "You look beautiful," he said. "Thank you. You look nice too." He sat down. We ordered wine, made small talk about our weeks. He was relaxed, happy, completely oblivious to what was about to happen. I felt another flicker of guilt, but I pushed it down. This was necessary. This was the only way to get clarity. At 7:20, I took a deep breath. "David, there's something I need to tell you." "Okay, that sounds serious." "It is. I've been struggling with us, with our marriage, with feeling like we've lost something important." He reached across the table, took my hand. "I know. I felt it too. That's why I'm glad you planned this. We need to reconnect. We need to make time for each other." "It's more than that. I've been seeing someone else." His hand went still on mine. His expression didn't change immediately, like his brain needed time to process what I'd just said. "What?" "I've been having an affair, for about 6 months, with someone I met at a conference." He pulled his hand back, slowly, like he was moving underwater. "You've been cheating on me. I've been confused. I've been trying to figure out what I want, what I need, who I want to be. By fucking someone else. It's not just physical, it's emotional. He makes me feel things I haven't felt in years. Things I forgot I could feel." David's face was changing now. The shock giving way to something else. Anger, hurt, betrayal. "Why are you telling me this? Why now?" "Because I need to make a decision, and I need you to help me make it. Help you decide whether to stay with your husband or leave him for the guy you've been fucking. Is that what you're asking me?" "I'm asking you to fight for me, to show me why I should choose you, to remind me why I married you." He stared at me like I was speaking a foreign language. "You want me to fight for you? After you cheated on me? After you betrayed our marriage? After you just sat here and told me you've been sleeping with someone else for 6 months? Yes. I want to know you care enough to try. I want to know I matter to you. This is insane. You're insane." "I'm not insane. I'm just honest. I'm being honest about what I've been feeling and what I need." "What you need? What about what I need? What about our marriage? What about the vows we took?" "Those vows haven't made us happy. We've been coasting, existing together but not really living." "So your solution was to cheat and then make me compete for you?" "My solution was to figure out which relationship is worth keeping, and I can't do that without seeing who wants me more." He was about to respond when Marcus walked in. Perfect timing. 7:30 on the dot. Marcus saw me immediately, started walking toward our table. Then he saw David, saw my hand on the table near David's, saw the wine glasses, saw the intimate setting. He stopped. Confusion crossed his face. "Marcus," I called out, "come join us." David's head whipped toward me, his expression shifting from confused to horrified. "What are you doing?" "I invited him. I wanted you both here. I wanted to have this conversation with both of you at the same time." "You invited your affair partner to our date. Are you out of your mind?" Marcus was approaching slowly now, wary, like he was walking into a trap, which, in hindsight, he was. "What's going on?" he asked when he reached the table. His eyes darted between me and David, trying to make sense of the situation. "Marcus, this is David, my husband. David, this is Marcus, the man I've been seeing for the past 6 months." The look on both their faces would have been comical if the situation wasn't so serious. Shock, confusion, dawning horror as they both realized what I'd done. "Your husband?" Marcus's voice was flat, controlled, like he was working very hard to stay calm. "You're married?" "Yes, I thought you knew." "How the hell would I know? You never mentioned a husband. You never wore a ring. You never said anything about being married. You told me you lived alone. You told me you were single." That was true. I had told him those things. Small lies to make the affair easier, to avoid complications, to keep the two worlds separate. I didn't think it mattered. What we have is separate from my marriage. They're two different relationships serving different needs. Of course it matters. I don't date married women. I'm not a homewrecker. If I'd known— "You would have what?" David interrupted, his voice sharp and bitter. "Not fucked my wife." "How noble of you, how principled. But you did fuck her. For 6 months. So your moral high ground is a little shaky." Marcus turned to David, and I could see him trying to decide how to handle this, trying to figure out if he should be defensive or apologetic. "Look, man, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know she was married. If I'd known, I never would have—" "Spare me," David cut him off. "You're fucking someone else's wife. Whether you knew it or not doesn't change what you did. Doesn't change that you're here now. Doesn't change anything." "David," I interrupted, trying to regain control of the situation. "This isn't about blame. This isn't about who did what. This is about deciding what happens next, about figuring out what we all want." "What we want?" David's voice was rising now. People at nearby tables were starting to look over. "There is no we. There's me, my cheating wife, and the guy she's been fucking. That's not a we. That's a disaster. Please lower your voice. Don't tell me to lower my voice. You brought me here under false pretenses. You told me this was a date night to reconnect. And instead, you invited your lover to watch us have a conversation about your affair. What exactly did you think was going to happen?" "I thought you'd fight for me." The words came out louder than I intended, desperate. "I thought you'd show me why I should stay. I thought you'd prove that our marriage is worth saving." The wine bar had gone quiet. Everyone was watching now. This was the kind of public drama people would talk about for weeks. "Fight for you," David repeated slowly. Like he was testing the words, like he couldn't believe what he was hearing. "You want me to fight for you, after you cheated on me, after you lied to me for 6 months, after you brought your lover to our date. You want me to compete for the privilege of staying married to someone who clearly doesn't respect me or our marriage. I do respect you. I do. I needed to know who wanted me more. I needed to see who would fight harder." Marcus made a sound, almost a laugh, but not quite. "This is insane. You set up some kind of competition, like we're gladiators fighting for your affection." "It's not a competition. It's just clarity. I need clarity. I need to know who really loves me, who really wants to be with me, who's willing to prove it." "Prove it?" David stood up abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. "I proved it. I proved it by marrying you, by coming home to you every night, by building a life with you, by staying faithful even when our marriage got hard, even when you became distant and distracted, even when I suspected something was wrong but told myself I was being paranoid. I proved it every single day. And apparently, that wasn't enough. Apparently, I needed to perform, needed to compete, needed to fight for something I already had." "You didn't have me," I shot back. "You had a version of me, the wife version, the comfortable version. But you stopped seeing the real me years ago. You stopped trying. You stopped making me feel special." "So that gives you the right to cheat? That gives you the right to fuck someone else and then make us both show up here to compete for you?" "I needed to feel valued. I needed to feel like I mattered. And neither of you were giving me that without prompting." Marcus held up his hands. "Okay, hold on. Back up. Neither of us. You're lumping me in with him." "Yes, because you both take me for granted. David takes me for granted by ignoring me. You take me for granted by—" "By what?" by thinking I was dating a single woman, by not realizing you were married, by not being psychic enough to know you were lying to me about your entire life, by not fighting for me now, by standing there judging me instead of showing me why I should choose you. Choose me? Marcus's voice went cold. You want me to compete for the privilege of dating a married woman who lies, a woman who clearly has no problem manipulating people, a woman who set up this whole twisted scenario to make us dance for her entertainment. It's not entertainment, it's a decision. I'm trying to make a decision, and I need information. I need to see who wants me more. Then here's your information, Marcus said, his voice steady but hard. I don't want you. Not like this. Not after finding out you're married. Not after seeing how you operate. Not after realizing you're capable of this level of manipulation. But you said you loved me. You said I was special. You said... I said a lot of things to a woman I thought was single. To a woman I thought was honest. To a woman I thought was worth my time and energy and emotions. But that woman doesn't exist. She was a lie. Just like everything else about you. He grabbed his jacket off the back of his chair. Get help, seriously, get therapy. Figure out why you think this kind of behavior is okay. Figure out why you need two men to fight over you to feel valuable. Figure out why you can't just be in a relationship like a normal person. But leave me out of it. Marcus, please, don't go. If you go, then David wins. And I need to know that what we had was real. I need to know you meant what you said. What we had was based on lies. Every conversation, every moment, every word I said, it was all based on the premise that you were single and honest. And you're neither. So no, what we had wasn't real. It was a fantasy you created. And I'm done being part of it. He looked at David. I'm sorry, man. I really didn't know. For what it's worth. David gave a short, bitter laugh. It's not worth much. But I believe you. I believe neither of us really knew who she was. And then Marcus walked away, straight out of the wine bar without looking back. I turned to David desperately. See? See how easily he gave up. See how he just walked away without even trying. That proves he didn't really love me. That proves you're the one who... Don't. David's voice was quiet now, deadly quiet. Don't you dare try to spin this as me winning. I didn't win anything. I lost. I lost my wife. I lost my trust. I lost 5 years of my life to someone who was capable of this. But you're still here. You're still here, which means... I'm still here because I'm in shock. I'm still here because I'm trying to process what you just did. I'm still here because I can't believe the person I married would do something this cruel. It's not cruel. I'm trying to make a decision. I'm trying to... You're trying to manipulate us. You're trying to make us compete like we're prizes you're choosing between. Like we're not people with feelings and dignity. Like we're just options in your life that you can test and evaluate. That's not what this is. That's exactly what this is. And you know what? I'm done too. I'm not fighting for you. I'm not competing. I'm not participating in whatever sick game this is. Please don't leave. Please. I'll choose you. I'll end things with Marcus. I'll do whatever you want. Just please don't leave. It's too late for that. You made your choice when you fucked him. You made your choice when you lied to me for 6 months. You made your choice when you set up this humiliating spectacle. You already chose. You chose yourself. You chose your need for drama and validation and competition. And that's fine. That's your choice. But I'm choosing myself now. I'm choosing my dignity. I'm choosing to walk away from someone who could do this to me. He pulled out his wallet, threw some bills on the table. That should cover the wine. Goodbye. Wait, don't leave. I need you to fight for me. I need you to show me why I should stay. That's what love is. That's what people do when they love someone. He stopped at the edge of the table, looked at me, and I saw something in his eyes I'd never seen before. Pity. That's not what love is. Love is coming home every night. Love is being faithful. Love is building a life together. Love is being there through the boring parts and the hard parts. I did all of that, and you threw it away because it wasn't dramatic enough. Because I didn't fight for you in the way you wanted. Well, I fought for our marriage every single day. And you still cheated, so no, I'm not fighting for you now, I'm fighting for myself. And that means walking away. And I was sitting alone at that table in the middle of the wine bar with everyone staring at me. Both of them had walked away. Both of them had chosen their dignity over fighting for me. Both of them had decided I wasn't worth it. The waiter came over hesitantly. "Ma'am, are you okay? Do you need anything?" I needed both of them to come back. I needed them to realize they were making a mistake. I needed them to fight for me like I deserved. But instead, I said, "Just the check." "Your husband already paid on his way out." Of course he did. One last gesture before leaving me forever. I left that wine bar and sat in my car for an hour, crying, calling both of them. Neither of them answered. I texted David, "Please come home, we can talk about this. I made a mistake, I'm sorry." No response. I texted Marcus, "I'm sorry I didn't tell you about David, but what we have is real. Please don't throw it away." No response. I drove home alone, to an empty house. David's car wasn't in the driveway. Inside, half his clothes were gone from the closet. His toiletries were missing from the bathroom. He'd grabbed essentials and left. There was a note on the kitchen counter. "Don't contact me. My lawyer will be in touch. What you did tonight was the most humiliating, manipulative thing anyone has ever done to me. I'm done. We're done. Sign the papers when they arrive." I called him. Straight to voicemail. I called Marcus. Same. I called David's phone again and again. Nothing. I texted. I apologized. I begged. I explained. Nothing. They were both gone. I'd lost both of them in one night. That was 3 months ago. I haven't heard from either of them since that night. David filed for divorce the following week, cited adultery, made everything public in the filing. His lawyer was brutal. My lawyer said I had no case. That adultery meant I'd lose everything. I had to move out of our house. David kept it. I'm renting a small apartment now, with what's left of my savings. The divorce was finalized last month. 5 years of marriage over, just like that. Marcus blocked me on everything: phone, social media, email, complete radio silence. I tried going to his office once. Security escorted me out, said he'd filed a no-contact order if I tried again. I lost my job too. The company didn't appreciate the drama. The gossip about what happened spread through the office. They said it was creating a hostile work environment. I'm alone, completely alone. No husband, no lover, no job, no friends who will talk to me because everyone sides with David. All because I tried to make them fight for me. All because I wanted them to prove they loved me. All because I wanted clarity on an impossible situation. People tell me I got what I deserved, that I was manipulative, that I was playing games, that I treated two human beings like toys competing for my attention. And maybe they're right, but I don't understand why wanting to be fought for is such a terrible thing. I don't understand why expecting the men who claim to love me to actually prove it is so wrong. I don't understand why I'm the villain for wanting passion and intensity instead of just accepting whatever lukewarm effort they were willing to give. Everyone acts like I should have just picked one, like I should have made a decision in isolation, like I should have broken up with one before pursuing the other. But why? Why should I have to make that decision without seeing who wanted me more? If they really loved me, wouldn't they have stayed? Wouldn't they have fought? Wouldn't they have competed for me? The fact that they both walked away so easily proves they didn't really love me. Proves I was right to test them. Proves they weren't worth keeping. That's what I tell myself. But late at night, when I'm alone in my apartment, with nothing but regrets and silence, I wonder if I'm lying to myself. I wonder if maybe they did love me, in their own ways, and I destroyed that love by treating it as something to be tested, by setting up a competition no one could win, by demanding they humiliate themselves to prove their feelings. I wonder if David was right, if I am insane, if what I did was unforgivable. I wonder if Marcus was right, if I need therapy, if I need to figure out why I think this kind of behavior is okay. But I also wonder if they were just cowards, if they gave up too easily, if they valued their pride more than they valued me. I wonder if I was right to expect more, to demand more, to want proof instead of just words. I wonder if they failed the test, or if I failed by giving it. I honestly don't know anymore. My therapist, because yes, I did finally get therapy, says I have a lot to work on. She says I have issues with self-worth, that I need external validation to feel valuable, that I create chaos because conflict feels more real than contentment. She says I sabotaged both relationships because I was afraid of genuine intimacy, that I kept David at arm's length by being unfaithful, that I kept Marcus at arm's length by lying about my marriage. She says the competition I created was designed to fail, that I set impossible standards so I could blame them for not meeting them, that I wanted them both to leave so I could be the victim instead of the villain. She says a lot of things that make sense in her office, but feel wrong when I'm alone. Because I didn't want them to leave. I wanted them to stay. I wanted them to fight for me. I just wanted to matter enough for someone to try. And they both decided I wasn't worth the effort. Sometimes I see David's social media. He's dating someone new. She looks nice. Normal. Probably not the type to invite her lover to their date and demand a cage match for her affection. He looks happy. Happier than he looked with me in those last few months. Like I was the problem. Like removing me from his life solved everything. Marcus locked down his social media after blocking me. I have no idea what he's doing, if he's dating, if he thinks about me, if he regrets walking away. Probably not. Probably he tells the story at parties. So, this crazy married woman set up an ambush where me and her husband both showed up. Probably everyone laughs. Probably I'm the punchline. And maybe I deserve to be. But I still don't fully understand what I did wrong. I was honest, wasn't I? I told them both the truth. I stopped lying. I stopped hiding. I just wanted them to prove their love, to show me I was worth fighting for, to demonstrate they cared enough to compete. That's not manipulation. That's not crazy. That's just wanting to be chosen, wanting to be valued, wanting to matter more than pride or dignity or discomfort. Is that really so wrong? My therapist says yes. My ex-husband would say yes. My ex-lover would say yes. Everyone says yes. But sometimes, late at night, I still wonder if they were all just too weak to do what needed to be done. If they loved me like they claimed, wouldn't they have stayed? Wouldn't they have fought? Wouldn't they have proven it? Or is love supposed to be easy, comfortable? Something that doesn't require grand gestures and competitions and proof? I don't know. I just know I'm alone now. And maybe that's what I deserve. Maybe that's what I was always going to get. Maybe I engineered my own isolation because I'm too broken to accept real love. Or maybe they were just not strong enough to handle a woman who demands more, who expects more, who refuses to settle for lukewarm affection and comfortable routines. I invited my lover on a date with my husband to make them fight for me. I thought it was brilliant, efficient, the perfect way to get clarity on an impossible situation. I thought they'd compete, that they'd prove their love, that they'd show me who wanted me more. Instead, they both dumped me. They both walked away without a second thought. They both decided their pride was more important than our relationship. And now I'm alone, divorced, unemployed, living in a crappy apartment with nothing but regrets and questions. Did I manipulate them? Yes. Probably. Definitely. Did I play games? Yes. I set up a competition. I tested their love. I demanded they perform. Did I deserve to lose both of them? That's the question I can't answer. Part of me says yes, that I created a situation designed to fail, that I sabotaged both relationships because I was afraid of choosing, that I got exactly what I engineered. But part of me says no, that if they really loved me, they would have stayed, they would have fought, they would have proven I was worth the effort. The fact that they both left so easily suggests they never really loved me at all, or maybe it suggests that I'm unlovable, that I'm too damaged, too demanding, too manipulative to deserve love. I don't know which version is true. I just know I'm living with the consequences. Every single day, in this small apartment, in this lonely existence, in this life I built by demanding too much and offering too little. People ask me if I regret it. The affair, the setup, the competition, all of it. And the honest answer is, I don't know. I regret losing David. He was stable, secure, a good man who deserved better than what I gave him. I regret losing Marcus. He was exciting, passionate, someone who made me feel alive. But do I regret trying to make them fight for me? Do I regret demanding they prove their love? I'm not sure. Because isn't that what I deserved? Isn't that what anyone deserves? Someone who wants you enough to fight? Or is that just the toxic thinking that destroyed my life? My therapist would say it's the second one. That healthy love doesn't require competitions or tests or grand gestures. That mature relationships are built on communication and trust, not drama and conflict. But I can't shake the feeling that they gave up too easily. That if they really loved me, they would have stayed. Even though I know that's not how it works. Even though I know I created an impossible situation. Even though I know I destroyed both relationships through my own actions. I still feel like they failed me somehow. Like they should have fought harder, wanted me more, proven their love. And maybe that's the core of my problem. Maybe that's why I'm alone. Maybe that's why I'll always be alone. Because I demand proof instead of accepting trust. I create tests instead of building connection. I sabotage love because I don't believe it's real unless it's dramatic. And men like David and Marcus, good men, healthy men, sane men, they don't play those games. They walk away. They choose themselves. They refuse to participate in toxic competitions designed to make them prove their worth. And they're right to do so, but that doesn't make it hurt less, doesn't make the loneliness easier, doesn't make me understand where I went wrong. I invited my lover on a date with my husband to make them fight for me. It seemed logical at the time, seemed like the perfect solution to an impossible problem. How else was I supposed to choose? How else was I supposed to know who wanted me more? But I see now, or at least I'm starting to see, that I wasn't looking for clarity. I was looking for drama, for intensity, for proof that I mattered. And when neither of them would give me that, when neither of them would play my game, when neither of them would sacrifice their dignity to compete for me, I lost everything. Because they weren't the problem. I am. I'm the woman who needs chaos to feel loved, who tests people until they break, who demands proof instead of offering trust. I'm the woman who destroyed her marriage and her affair in one night because she couldn't accept either one as it was. I'm the woman who sits alone in this apartment, wondering where she went wrong, while knowing exactly where she went wrong, and still not fully accepting it. I invited my lover on a date with my husband to make them fight for me. They both dumped me, and I deserve it, every bit of it, even if part of me still doesn't believe that's true.